Windows, Windows, Windows. I really don't like Windows. But anyways, hi guys. Yeah, so I'm gonna dive into Windows again a little bit today. So, like I mentioned before, I created a Windows virtual machine for testing and some other stuff. I actually do have a purpose for it now, to a degree. Nothing really insane or major or anything like that. But figured, a couple days ago, I'm like, hey, why don't we do a couple of tweaks to it, see if I can improve it, make it more my own, things of that sort. So why don't we take a look at that today on today's edition of Muck Quest. All right, thank you very much for coming along, and much appreciated. Hey everybody, how you doing? And we are going to be looking a little further into my Windows 11 virtual machine. Windows is something that I'm not into, really, stuff like that, especially with all of its tracking, and now that they're putting ads into the operating system everywhere you click, everywhere you look, everything. It's just it's the business is just getting into aspects of personal computing that don't need to be there. So for myself, I keep Windows at a down low, and I only use it for a couple of purposes. One of those purposes is actually now on a hiatus, and that is my game. Because I just decided I haven't played it in the past couple of months. I really don't have any desire to play. I don't have any need to play. So why pay them $15 a month? So, and I'll just look at it less. I'm just going to let it sit. And then when I want to play again, all right, then I'll throw them $15. It's World of Warcraft from Blizzard. You know, and I've got my opinions about Blizzard and everything like that. But if I want to play this one game, mea culpa, whatever, in either sense. But, you know, and I do use Windows 10 for the editing of these videos. I'm actually on it right now. That's why I can see, well, I see the camera, you can see me. So there we are. This is a Windows 10 environment. So I do have this whole setup on my Linux box. Right down there, on my feet, but you know, it's only there when I really need to do something from that machine, and I use a KVM switch between the two machines on this one monitor that I'm pointing at right now, which is what the camera is sitting on top of at the far, as close to the center as possible, so that you know you don't see me talking like this all the time. So it's a little off. And I'm not using my other camera because it's over there. And you'll notice right over here, I've got a couple of uninvited guests, but they're small and they're cute. And they sound cool too. You can see the little whitened things on there, kind of sorted. I can't zoom in, but you know, I could, but you know, am I going to? No. They're mini puffs from Ghostbusters. It came with the Proton Pack. It was part of the stretch goals, I think it was. I'd have to look back. But you know, the mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from that we see in Ghostbusters Afterlife and in Frozen Empire. And they've got a nice, you know, high pitched noise, you know, that kind of thing that they do, and they're cute. And it came with 3 of them. And 3 additional heads. You just pop them off and pop the other ones on. One of them isn't there right now because I'm letting Freya borrow them. She's over in the office for the condo complex. She's my friend from our old work where we used to work together at. And I earlier I I brought automatic to work, and I dropped her off, and I came back, and Freya was outside helping someone to jump their car. So I walked over, and I'm like, hey, I've got this little guy. You want to borrow him? And she's like, oh my God, it's so cute. So I'm like, yeah, here. Yeah, borrow it. I'll come grab it after Halloween's over, because it's Halloween season, and I only take those out for Halloween. So, in a sense, off the topic, back to what we're doing. Windows. So, yeah, so, you know, from my previous video about my Windows 11 virtual machine, you know, a couple of days ago and stuff like that, I'm like, I know I want to do a couple of tweaks. I want to change the wallpaper, and I want to be able to modify the resolution so that it's, you know, more typical with today's machines, you know, with the, you know, of the, you know, we look at a monitor today and, you know, it's kind of whitish. Well, there was a time when they were narrower. It was a 4:3 or a 4:3 aspect ratio. And now that's more or less 19:6, 19:6. And, you know, and then the resolutions, you know, are larger, of course. So I wanted to have something where I could mimic that and take advantage of my full monitor, you know, viewable area. So, you know, so I had known about it, but I had forgotten about it. And then I was able to remind myself of what was needed. So I went out, I grabbed it. I'm using VirtualBox on Windows to create my virtual machines. So, and I updated my Linux Mint Debian edition, and that's, you know, using VirtualBox for virtual machines. That's a, you know, it's kind of neat. If you've got the hardware specs installed on your machine to be able to perform that, go for it. I happen to. And it's more or less for these videos so that I could show those screens, and I'll actually show you my my Debian edition update that I did. It's just the wallpaper, but my other reasoning for having virtual machines is so that I could have a Linux machine on a Windows box, running Linux within Windows, where Windows doesn't have any control over it. It's so satisfying, and I'm an innocently chaotic little hamster, so I'm very proud of myself for that. So, but enough of that. I want to get into it. So why don't we switch on over, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So here we go. Here is the Windows 11 VirtualBox, or virtual machine more so, and as we can see, I've taken that nasty blue shower poof. I'm not going to call it a loofah. It's because, you know, that's just a fancy word for a stupid object. They're useful. They're absolutely useful. But, you know, having it as part of a desktop, it just makes you think of George W. Bush. Not today's George Bush that we know. George W. Bush, the dad. Kinder, gentler America. Yeah. Kinder, gentler Windows. This is what that's going through. That's what's telling me. And I'm like, ugh. I wanted to make it my own. So I took the wallpaper, and I went into the GNU image manipulation program, also commonly known as GIMP. But, you know, for the sake of, you know, political correctness, we have to change it to the longer name. Yeah, so let's make it long and confusing. Anyway, the GNU image manipulation program, please. Anyhow, so there we go. We've got, you know, the AnKorage up here in the corner, and it's Windows 11. So, you know, that's to plainly show you, hey, this happens to be Windows 11. And there's that shower poof. And I'm like, you know, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't like the blue. What's the color of the channel? It's green. This should be green. So I took it into GIMP, and I changed the colors over to green. And here we go. And it's a lot nicer now. The shading, the intensities, and everything like that, it just looks that much better. In fact, here's the different things that I did for it. You know, a couple of pictures. I just have to move these, but in any sense. So what we've got is, and you can see the resolution. It's a lot wider now. So, and I've got some notes here regarding this. If I can get myself back to it. Yep. Okay. One of the things we can see here is that, how did I make this? I used an unattended install script. So that's what I used. And and then I also, in order to be able to change the resolution, I needed another, not a script, but a software package that was installed into the virtual machine itself. So it's actually out here, and it's the VirtualBox Guest Editions. So install that, and what do you know? You can get it nice and wide. So there you go. Let's see. What do I have for notes here? A full activation script was used. So that was so that I could change my window colors to a degree. Yeah, that's blue. That cannot be changed, which I think is garbage, but, in either sense. And in my installation script, I wanted to have the Windows 10 context menu when you right click. So if I come over here and I right click, as you can see, this is the Windows 10 right click menu. And as far as the cosmetic of the Windows 11 right click menu goes, I don't have any problem with it. I think it actually does look kind of nice. I love to work it, but I want these options on that right click. I don't want extra stuff, these little, Tom used the word carrot recently, so I'm going to use it. So these little carrots off to the side, yeah, I like them here because that's where they're needed. They're not needed on the Windows 11 context menu. No, I want this, but I can't have that. So I just went and I just had the installation script, put this back in here. And I just had a text, so I'm going to check that out. So I'll be right back. It says it was just a notification that I've got voicemail. So chances are it's a telemarketer. Probably another phone number to block. But neither sense. So back out here. So if I come back over and I look at that. Let's see, the right click context menu. I just talked about that. Next over, local user administrator. So I had the install script mention that I only want a local user account. So, and what is that info? Well, that info is located right here, and I pull it up, and there we go. Odin VM test. Odin is the machine that I'm using. VM is the virtual machine, and it's for testing. This installation is strictly for testing and mucking around with, hence the name MuckQuest. Hello. So that's taken care of. And of course, you got this rewards. You got to sign in. If you want to use OneDrive, you got to sign in. And during my installations of Windows, I did not, OneDrive, no. I don't want OneDrive. I don't want any bloat software, anything like that. And OneDrive is definitely bloat, because I don't need it, I don't want it, I don't want it there, and I don't want it installed when I installed the OS, so I didn't install it. So let's see, if I take a quick look here, okay, hardware requirements such as TPM, secure boot, those were ignored. So that was so that when it was installed, it could be installed as a virtual machine and not have to require any hardware, such as a TPM device or in the processor or anything like that. That's just a security thing. And what was the other one thing again? Oh yeah, secure boot. It's like I've got secure boot's already in there. It doesn't matter, stuff like that. But I told it ignore it. I mean, it's a virtual machine. It shouldn't have to use TPM or secure boot, so I don't want it to require it to be run. And then debloated, no unnecessary software. So yeah, if I go down and I fire up my start menu, you can see it is naked in here. There's like nothing. There's my there's my recommendeds. These are all the files I've been using recently. That's about it. All my apps are right out here, and you can see that, yeah, you can see Excel there. I'll explain that in a minute. But yeah, File Explorer, Get Started, Media Player, Edge, which you can't get rid of. I wish I could. Right click on that. Yep, no option to uninstall. So yeah, it's like I'll use Edge and stuff like that, but I'll explain that a little bit and stuff like that. OneNote is part of Microsoft Office. I'll explain that. There's the guest editions right there. So there we go. Yeah, get out of here. Back apps. There we go. Paint, photos, PowerPoint. That's an Office thing. Settings, snipping tool, T, terminal, Windows, backup. I mean, it's shot right up the W. Where's all the bloat software? There, it's gone. I never installed it. I told the installation script not to put it in there. And there we go. And of course, then the last thing is Word and stuff like that. So, I'll get to explain that in a little bit. But in either sense, this is my machine. So why do I have this? Well, just so I can muck around with it, so I can play with it, and also it's for testing, for stuff like that. And what, if being a Linux user, why would I need to test in Windows? Well, here's the thing. I'm at a condo complex. My former coworker is in the office, and she asked me for assistance in setting up her new computer, which happens to be a NUC, next unit of computing. Basically, it's a small little box, and then she needed some help with Office, getting it up and running and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I helped with all of that and everything like that, but she was getting all kinds of notifications for activation and things like that. Well, then I found the way to activate it, and so I activated it, and she's got the full thing again. And here's why. Microsoft can't complain about it because the Office here has a license for, well, not just Windows, but for Microsoft Office. They're part of the 365 subscription even, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that's what they do, and they use the Windows, and there we go. So yeah. So I help them out with that, and what can I say? It's like I help them out with it. So what about why do I have Office on this machine? Like I was saying, I helped them out. I got I helped them get that unit set up, stuff like that. They're like, oh, we gotta get you on. We should put you on payroll as our IT guy. And I'm like, that would be great, but when would you be needing me? Hardly ever. So why bother? And it's like, this is just a hobby for me. It's fun. I like to do it. But I did have to help her on a couple of things regarding stuff going on inside of Word, not so much Excel. But, I looked at that and I'm like, I should probably have Office applications that I can refer to when I'm researching something to help her out whenever she needs it. So I installed Office on that virtual machine, and I'm like, okay, well then, they've got the license for it, so, and I'm using it as well when I assist them, stuff like that. So I use the same the activation script that I used with a couple of things, to activate Windows on my virtual machine. So I actually used the same outfit to activate Office, to prevent that annoying this is unactivated whenever you boot it, or no when you boot the machine, but when you fire up one of the applications. So I activated mine because the license is over, it's right across the way in the office. So it's like, I'm probably gonna need it at some point. So they've got the license, and I use it. I don't use it for my own personal stuff. I use LibreOffice. LibreOffice is 10 times better, in my opinion. But, it's like it's being Windows and they use Windows. I need to support Windows. So, it is what it is. And my generation stinking invented that phrase. I hate it, but, yeah, it is what it is. So I did that. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to be rigging up some remote desktop support software so that I can provide assistance without actually having to, go over into the office and physically sit down at it, so that I can just remote connect into it from my machine here. And I'll probably do it from inside that virtual machine because that'll just be easier. But I might do it for my Linux things, and it's going to be it's an application called RustDesk. It is an alternative to TeamViewer. So anybody that knows TeamViewer knows that it's garbage, and functionally to the user, it's great. But behind the scenes, it's absolute garbage. And you don't want that. So, I get an open source version or alternative, RustDesk. That works out pretty well. And, it operates similarly to TeamViewer, whereas, you've got one user here, and then you got the other user over here, but you can't direct connect to it. You have to go through a server to authenticate yourself and then connect over to the other machine. So machine here, guy right here. It needs to come up here, go and authenticate to that guy, and then it goes across, and then you're connected directly to it, and this guy drops off. That's how TeamViewer works. And that's how RustDesk works. That's when my next little chaotically little hamster mind comes into play, is that with RustDesk you can have a server that you self-host, and I have a machine right down here that I want to set up and have a RustDesk server or authentication server there, so that anytime I connect over there to that machine from here, goes down to that machine, connects down there, and then shoots over. So instead of having, me, the office, and an authentication server in who knows wherever, for TeamViewer, it's Tel Aviv, just so you know. So instead of having this guy someplace where for RustDesk, I don't know where that server is located, stuff like that, I can actually tell that machine to take the place of this so that it goes me, office. And nobody else can authenticate through that server because I'm not going to publish it for use. That will just take up a lot of network resources and traffic, stuff like that. And I'm only ever going to fire it up whenever it's needed. So I just need to get that machine set up. I've got the hard drive out. I need to wipe the drive. I need to get there's a server application OS. I can't remember if it's FreeNAS or if it's FreedomBox. I have to double check it. But I have to get it. I have to wipe the drive, install the OS, and then remote connect in. I'm not connecting a monitor necessarily, although I do have the ability to. I've got a long enough cable to this monitor, and then switch this monitor over to the other cable, and then I can access that and do whatever I need to. I've got my spare keyboard right here, which is this guy. And yeah, so I can do that. And then I can provide remote support to the office right from this chair. And Yeah, and I can still use the Windows thing. Then you know, if they get any additional software or they need any additional software, and need me to ask me to research something in Windows, or can it be done using Windows, stuff like that, I can use the virtual machine to figure that out. And that's the intention of that. It's for testing and also for support for the office here. So that's what we've got going with that. So that's probably gonna do it for this video. I just wanted to take a quick moment and show you the little tweaks that I did, and let me know what you think of the wallpaper down below. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the other machines. I actually have to shut that one down, but in either sense, you know, that was that machine, and you know, I changed the wallpaper on my virtual machine for Linux Mint Debian Edition, so I want to show you that. Okay, and here we go. We have Linux Mint Debian Edition, or as what we commonly call it, LMDE. Here it is. And you know, in order to get this text in here, stuff like that, I needed to darken the wallpaper. So I darkened the wallpaper so that I could get this here, and I threw a little drop shadow behind it just to help it stand out a little more. So, and this is me running Linux inside of Windows 10. Yeah. Do I do anything with it? Yeah, I do testing. I'll test software out here first before I bring it into my my daily driver. I just want to make sure everything looks good, runs nice, looks pretty, whatever, everything of that sort. And yeah, and that's that machine. So, and I hope you like that. So yeah, let me know how you like it. If you like this video, give it a like, please. That's the thumbs up. You know, on what was it? On Odyssey, I think it's a little fire thingy. On Rumble, I forget. But you know, give it a like, everything like that. And please come and subscribe so you can see stuff like this. I mean, this is just one of my computery things. I've got other stuff that I want to do, but you know, I gotta have the motivation to break out the camera, break out the tripod, break out the lavalier mic. It's on an 18-foot cable. Oh, just get a wireless. Those are expensive, and I don't have the money for that. At least not right now. I will in a few months. And you know, I would like to get one, but I'm kind of picky on which ones I want to get. You know, the ones where you know where it's a square thing, and you know, you clip it on your shirt, and then you know you got this big honking black square thing. I'm not really big on that. It's like, you know, if that's what I have to do, then you know, it is what it is. But there we are. You know, and the you know, the motivation just to pull all that stuff out and do all that, you know, which I do. And of course, you know, I don't do videos nearly as much anymore. That's because I'm helping Tom with Switch to Linux. That's those guys over there. And I've got some other, not responsibilities or duties, but you know, extra things I do to kind of help out his channel a little bit. It's really good. He's a good guy, and kitties are cute, and there we go. And you know, that takes up it takes up more of my time. Not a whole lot, but enough. I mean, today is fortunate because it's Friday. We have a weekly news roundup tonight. We already went over the stories for tonight's articles. We did that last night after the supporter stream, which I'm part of, Thursday nights on Switch and Linux. You know, and you get to see this stuff and everything. And I had that on. So there we go. And you know, when I do my videos like this, it's me time. That's where I get I get to be everything, and you can see the pretty pictures. You know, where you know, you see different stuff on the supporter stream. But my videos, you can see that stuff, you know, because you know, I made them, and I'm using them, and there we go. And what we got: Disroot, Linux Mint, Switch to Linux, Battlestar, my hammer, Dinner Quest, Buster Quest. Let's see, Quest New Hampshire, Arrow Quest, Linux, and then of course we've got my channel title right there and the logo. So there we go. So that's pretty much going to be this video. So make sure you subscribe. that's, you know, you don't want to miss this stuff. Seriously, you really don't want to miss this stuff. Yeah, it's not like every day. Can I keep that kind of a schedule? Oh, I could do it, but, you know, then I wouldn't have time for anything else, especially helping out the office. So I just do this when I have a chance at this point, and I had the chance today, so I'm doing it. So there we go. And you know, give it a like, and you know, if you got all the way down here, give me a pine tree down at the bottom, down below. I'd like a pine tree. Actually, let me change that. Change it to a pineapple, because it's not on right now, but that thing, that's a pineapple lamp. So I didn't turn it on. Mea culpa. That's French for my fault. So there we go. In either sense. So thank you very much for coming along. Skál. Drink to victory. And stay away from windows.